I had to ask.
Just
Where's yours?
next time, put it in there, Kelly.
Yeah, put it in there.
Is there any other board comment on page 16? Is there public comment or question on page 16?
This is where I had a question about the vehicle reserves. What happened with that? Did it get lumped into capital reserves or?
So, because the vehicle reserves were essentially capital money that was transferred for a vehicle replacement program,
Mhm.
that program was terminated and all those funds for each fund respectively was put back into their capital reserve account. So these numbers would be the goal for each department for all capital replacement.
So the vehicle fund was eliminated after the report, right?
It was that one in that
The-
weird account,
Well,
right?
because it's still in the report, I believe. I saw it somewhere. I was happy to see that it was still there.
Is that the
I
one?
mean, the money's still there, but yeah.
They'd have
It's
to,
not,
they'd have to ask.
but it was in one of the reports,
So not all the transfers have been made,
but it's going to happen.
but it's gonna happen. And the numbers that are in this report and the one you have in front of you are what it is for operating capital as of the month.
Okay, good,
And
thank
like,
you.
board has asked for that monthly, we're gonna try
Yeah,
to do that
that's
monthly.
good.
Any additional public comment or questions on page 16? All right, we move on to page 17. Do we have any board comments or questions on page 17? None. Is there any public comment or questions on page 17? Okay, we'll move to page 18. Do you have any board comments or questions on page 18?
My comment was just the negative, but it was answered very good.
Okay. Do we have any public comment or questions on page 18?
Okay, again, the negative numbers on the wastewater, where did that negative come from? Because that's not part of Steinbeck.
That's not part of Steinbeck, but once part of the money that's currently in the operating account is capital money. So when you take that money out, that creates the negative. So the numbers that you have on that report are the actual numbers that it should have been at the end of March. So once all the transfers are complete and the money is put into the appropriate account, then that's gonna leave a deficit in as of the 31st, would leave a deficit in the wastewater account, the operating account.
Okay,
So, I think so, like on slide 21, the wastewater account has $395,699 in capital reserve. Part of that money currently is in the operating account, which was inflating the actual dollar amount in the operating account, but it wasn't unrestricted money. It wasn't user fees. So once that money is transferred out of the operating account, it'll leave a deficit operating cash in the operating account for wastewater. So it's previously it wasn't a very good picture because the capital money was piled on top of the operating money.
Mhm.
So when you separate it out and you actually look at what each one is, that's where you end up with a negative. And like I mentioned earlier, probably by now, that is closer to zero. And based on the rate study, if it had probably been implemented in July, it may have actually offset that total amount.
so what about water? Where is it at being closer to?
So it's probably not quite 439,000 in the hole right now, but I couldn't tell you exactly where it's at. It is,
Closer to 400?
it might be closer to 400. It is actually recovering,
Okay.
so,
That's what I saw in the other reports, more or less, so.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any additional comments on page 18?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going back and forth here, and sorry to go back to slide 17, but you have cash 1.326,241 and 8 cents. And then if you go to the current operating account balances, you take the three numbers that are in the positive, fire, lighting, and solid waste, and you only come up with $500,290. So if you took that, subtracted from the cash that we have, 1.3 million, it leaves $367,074, something like that. Where is that at?
So you're operating, or so you're, on this particular slide, your cash is all the capital, all the operating money, all the operating reserve, stabilization reserve, and debt service.
I didn't count the investment on that. I just threw that
So
aside.
yeah, the investment's separated
Yeah.
on there anyway.
Didn't even count that.
I mean, there may be an error in my mathematics.
That's just all.
But we have account balances, so you take those account balances, those are actuals, I would assume, if they're account balances. And those only equal $500,290.
They're
So-
operating balances.
So
They're
they're
operating, not just their operating.
So the cash on here is, if you went to the bank and pulled all your dollars out, you should have $1.3 million
right.
between all of the accounts, all the capital accounts, all the
I get that,
reserve accounts.
but it doesn't add up.
And how far are you off? Or how far am I off?
Like 300,000, 364,000, something like that.
Would it be 800,000 if it's here at 500?
Let me do this one more time, just for clarity. I'm sorry to delay the meeting.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to come up with your numbers, Kelly, and we hadn't communicated about this, so I'm not exactly sure about those, but Paul and I have.
$825,924. That's just not there.
Well, I doubt that I'm that far off.
I doubt you're that far off myself. It's just, if you have these balances, and these balances are actuals,
There's.
but it can't be actuals, because there's no way water could be to the negative of $439,000.
That's 65.
Well, yeah, I'm sure on paper it can be, but, you know, of the $1.3 million that is sitting there, not counting the investment, it doesn't seem proportionate. I'm just confused a little bit, and I'm confusing myself more the more I think about it, because before it's just kind of like, oh, it's a fleeting thought, but.
Well, in the interest of moving forward, what we can do is I'll double check all these numbers, and before our next meeting, I will have them for you guys, so we can make sure that they're the correct numbers.
Maybe you could check with Darrell to make sure that they look right.
Yeah.
So on page 21, Kelly, the reserve, you say capital reserve / goal. Is that the actual capital reserve now? Or is that, what is that?
So the operating, or the capital reserve is what it should be. So once all the transfers are made to put the money in the right spot, that's what it should be.
On your list here, cause it's negative 279,000 for water in capital reserve.
Right.
So that to me says they've borrowed $279,000 they didn't have from reserve.
Well, they've essentially borrowed almost $700,000 in total from other funds, which
Right.
until recently, we weren't able to determine what that was.
Okay,
So that has to be addressed.
yes, and so that amount plus the negative 439 in operating expenses, that makes what, $800,000. And on this report, anyway, at this point in time, in the negative for the water district.
Almost, yeah.
How much we set aside back?
About $800,000.
Okay, why don't we confirm before the next meeting what the actual is and verify what the discrepancy is?
Just for fun, if you add all those and took them into positive numbers, you come up with $1,020,377.
So, we'll go back through and make sure that they're correct.
Okay.
I'm not an accountant, sorry.
I play one on TV.
I stayed at Holiday Inn.
No, I do know, I am aware of, some additional for payroll purposes where transfers are made. They've been made through Fund 10 and we're no longer using Fund 10. So Paul and I still have a little bit more in the payroll area, but other than that, I'm not sure how it gets quite to these numbers, but we're working on it.
Okay. All right,
Sorry.
no problem. I think we're on page 19.
You think we're gonna
So we were on 18 and then we went backwards, so you're on 18.
So, we're 19.
Any board comments or questions on page 19? Nothing. Do we have any public comment or questions on page 19? Okay, moving to page 20. Do you have any board comment or questions on page 20?
The only comment I had, the very last sentence, the additional money will be budgeted and transferred as needed. Where will they be funded?
So each loan will be specific to the department, so that would be budgeted and transferred from that specific department.
Any other board comments or questions on page 19? Which way? 19.
I'm having a question about policy or debt, and that is, why don't we set a certain limit on how much debt to asset ratio that our district can use? Is that something we should possibly look into, so we don't have like other agencies where they end up somehow massively in debt and they can't pay it off? Is there a certain limit that's considered acceptable?
I don't know that it's relevant.
Well,
It's a policy we probably should have just in place, but I don't know that it's really relevant to what we're doing right now.
we're talking about getting more, you're talking about how much we're putting reserves, our debt service levels moving forward, you're gonna get another loan, yes?
We are gonna get another loan in the future, maybe,
Maybe.
but
What does that mean, maybe?
we haven't gotten it yet, so everything's a maybe until you get it. But, that is something we can look at in the future, it's not anything we have any information on right now, so.
Nope, it's a handout.
Oh, I can address from the audit, again, these are numbers that I've only, they're in the audit, we're trying to help get numbers to the audit. Total liabilities for the business type activities would be $1,981,000, and total assets are $6,771,000. So your debt is roughly, quite, yeah, third. But that's a number that at any point in time you can determine. Total assets, total liabilities.
Any other questions or comments on page 19 from the board?
I thought so.
Anyone? Any public comment on page 19? Page 20, moving on. We have board comment and questions on page 20. Any public comment or questions on page 20? Moving on, page 21. We have board comment and questions on page 21. Public comment on page 21. Moving on, page 22, is there any board comment or questions on page 22? Do we have any public comment or questions on page 22?
My question would be whether or not a buyout by lighting or by any other department of that investment is something that should have been brought to the board for approval or not. I don't know, it's a question.
The GM has authority, they're an investment policy. Right?
Yes. So, sorry.
That's okay. You're a fireman.
So on those investments, so I have to have full authority to be able to change or move them. When we talked about the percentages that were in there and trying to apply them to each fund based on the breakdown, it was just moving the numbers around so much, and when we looked at lighting, they're the ones that could be covered with the full liability of that. So there's not enough in there really investment wise spread out over, and the other funds needed the money, so.
I'm not doubting
Right.
the decision. I'm thinking back to managers and policy, and whether or not that should be, something that you want to,
The
give
investment
managers.
policy will come back every year with the budget.
And it is something we wanna clean up, and I don't have a problem with the board being
Yeah,
part of
not
that.
that I think they would have decided no, I'm just thinking,
And it streamlined the accountability for the purpose of preparing this document, so they understood where all the funds were at. Cause if not, it was broke down, and then when you had negatives working and positives, you got money in investments, but you're negative, it wasn't working.
yeah. No, I understand that. Just a question.
Any other public comments or questions on page 22?
No, I had to do math. I just keep going back and forth between all the numbers, and on page 21, if you allow me, you have wastewater with the, I think the first number is what the reserve is in hand, and then the second number represents what the goal is. So for example, take lighting has 70,000, 116, and the goal was 50,000. But yet you go down to wastewater, and wastewater has apparently $395,699 in reserves in hand, and their goal is 500,000, so they're short, but they're still moving ahead. But if you go back to the previous totals, wastewater has 0 in operating reserves. So then, if you add those numbers, it comes up to $707,157 versus the $500,209, neither of which add up to the 100.